Hello, family members. I hope you're having a nice day today. I'm I'm coming in hot today. I'm telling you. This is me worked up and quite honestly angry about something that I'd like to talk to you about. So forgive me if I seem a little worked up because I am. Um, I don't know exactly when it debuted, but a few weeks ago, a new asexual pride flag was introduced by a creator and some, I don't want to say accomplices, but this is how like worked up I am. That's the where my brain went. Um, some collaborators worked on, and I'm sure put a lot of effort in creating what they think is a new and improved flag for the asexual community to adopt. I don't believe that it's very likely that it's going to see wide adoption. I could be wrong. Maybe other people feel differently about this than I do. My absolute initial reaction when I saw this on social media was, I don't think people are going to use that. I don't think it looks very good. And then I kind of moved on with my life. And that honestly, that's kind of brutal. Like, honestly, it's a little mean to say that, but that was my legitimate first response upon seeing that people were trying to update the asexual flag. Was just like, okay, sure, Jan, if you've ever seen the Brady Bunch movie or you know that meme, that was me. And I didn't honestly think that much more about it because, again, I just didn't see it as an improvement or likely to be adopted widely. And then a creator that I don't necessarily follow but comes up in my algorithm reasonably often, the Ace Dad Advice guy, had a post saying that the asexual community was racist and this reaction to this flag thing just proved it. And I was kind of taken aback, and I was not in the right headspace to deal with it at that time. I've been through a lot for the last few weeks. Not just my dad's stroke, but other things. And so I was just like, I don't have the spoons to dig into that. But, if the original asexual flag has some sort of racist connotation and this new flag is meant to, replace it for that reason, well, that's something that I kind of feel like I'm obligated to learn more about. And so I had that in the back of my mind. So I wasn't going to really pass judgment on that flag or really engage with it, give any sort of review or feedback on it, because there was clearly an element there that I was missing that was important. And so, I put that back sort of in the back of the mental filing cabinet. And, I was talking to my therapist today about not making very many videos for YouTube recently and how I was feeling kind of creatively blocked. And, she was like encouraging me to kind of get back on my game, right? And so I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I should dig into that. Maybe there's something there. Maybe it'll be something that will inspire me to make a video. You ever have a plan just work? So I guess maybe I should have put this at the front, but I am asexual and I'm aromantic. That means that I am part of the umbrella asexual community, but I'm not asexual, like, directly. asexual is technically a gray sexual subcategory. So it's not quite the same, but it's in the same ballpark, right? So, and I also would like to point out, or I'd like to reiterate, I suppose, that I did not find out that I was aromantic, that there was such a thing as being aromantic until I was 35, and did not find the term aegosexual until a few years later after that. So the asexual community, the umbrella community, is something that I have a connection to, but it's not your typical connection to the broader community. And so, it sometimes it can be a little bit awkward for me to try to navigate that, being part of a community, but not as culturally part of it as many other people who are, in that community. So I go and I find the post from the Ace Dad guy, and it didn't have a picture of the flag, so it took me a minute to find it. And it didn't mention the names of anybody who were involved in introducing the flag. It just had this, rather provocative statement about how the asexual community is racist, and this reaction to the flag shows that, and read his Substack all about it. Yeah. I didn't really pick up on how self-serving it was when I first kind of saw that. I honestly gave him a little bit more credit than I feel like I should have in retrospect there. But I do think it's very interesting, given once I clicked on the link and actually read his argument, how he was talking about how he is a white creator, has his voice raised up, and these, black creators who were involved in making this, specifically the Ace and Grace channel, page on Instagram. She's the one who started this project, sort of spearheaded the project. He didn't mention her name, didn't mention the name of her, Instagram page, didn't mention anything, didn't give a link to it. You had to go read his Substack to get any more information. Find that very interesting. When you're going, part of what is in that Substack is you're going to complain about white creators getting visibility over black and people of color creators. Interesting, right? Then I go to read the Substack, and he did a lot of my work for me. He actually, he had a lot of the counter arguments against the new flag, and argued against them so implausibly that I was just like, and I noped out. And then I was like, no, I've got to come back. So I literally had to go find his profile again, open his damn Substack again, because I was just so appalled by how badly argued his points were. And okay, so the racism thing. Broadly, his argument is that the ace community is racist in the way that the broader, human population is racist. He did not in any way cite anything that I saw that was specific to ace practices or the ace community. It's just black creators don't get as much visibility as white creators. No shit. It's not just in the ace community, it's everywhere. He didn't mention this, but this is also true. Female creators don't get nearly as much attention as male creators, but maybe because that's a privilege he benefits from, it wasn't top of mind. I don't know. Well, I guess he benefits from the white privilege too. So I don't know why he mentioned his white privilege but not his male privilege. Anyway, so I didn't know, I did not see anything that he was arguing that was any broader than there is racism in the ace community in the same way that there's racism in the broader human population. And yeah, sure, we got to address that, but it's not like it's a unique challenge for us. And as far as I could tell, there was nothing about the original flag design that had anything to do with racism. The only reason he said that connected the flag issue to racism was because it was spearheaded by a black female creator, and some of the people who responded to this responded in ways that were probably tainted by the fact that she is black and female. That is almost all of what he mentioned were people who were really specifically, giving good, fair critiques of the flag being changed. Let me for example, he said that some of the criticism was that this ace and grace person didn't have a big enough following to attempt to make this change, and then said that it was like people were just saying know your place. The ace community is huge. It is everywhere in the entire world. And there's a lot of little pockets and puddles that are kind of connected, semi-disconnected. If somebody is going to try to do something as big as change the fundamental symbol used for an identity in any sort of media you see, those little comics with the people who are little circles and they have their flag on them to indicate what they represent. It's the asexual ball and the bisexual ball, and they're having little conversations. All of that for years. I think almost 2 decades now. Because the asexual flag is one of the older micro-label flags. All of that is with this original flag that we have, okay? The current flag that we have. Changing it to the proposed flag is almost impossible to do. There would have to be something catastrophically wrong with the original flag for someone with that small of a proportion of the population to make a suggestion that it be changed and then see that suggestion adopted widely. And there isn't anything catastrophically wrong with the original. There is criticism about the fact that the white stripe represents non-asexual partners and allies and such. But to me, when you have a label that's so underrepresented and misunderstood, our allies are a very important part of our community. And I don't have any problem with them being represented in the flag whatsoever. Every single allosexual person, alloromantic person out there who understands that asexual people exist and what it means to be asexual, the lack of attraction, not the lack of sex, but the lack of attraction, actually understands what it means to be asexual or aromantic or aegosexual or any of it. They are extremely valuable. Being someone who did not find my identities until I was 35 because they're too niche and I just was not online enough before that to come across them, I guess. I am angry a lot about the years that I didn't have the terminology to explain who I was and didn't have any people in my life that can understand. And so I am over the moon to have people around me in any capacity who understand any level of asexuality. So I don't have to start from scratch if I try to describe to them my life, okay? The other problem with this, and this is kind of jumping forward because obviously I'm trying to explain what it was like to go through this journey, but I had to go find this creator and find out more from her. And when I did, part of the argument for going forward with the project was that their community had done a community vote, and it was like 82% of people thought there should be a revision in the flag. The sample size was just over 1,000. It was like 1,100 something. This is a tiny sample of people from within their community who would have known to be part of that vote. So people who were already more willing to hear the argument for changing than your general population. It was essentially nothing. They asked their community, do you think what we want to work on as a community is a good idea? And then want to use that as a reason to believe that the broader population outside of their community would feel the same way they did. And that's just, it's not, I don't think they're right. I honestly just don't. So anyway, yeah, I'm reading this substack with arguments like that, where he brings up the criticism and then argues against it in a way that I find completely uncompelling, and actually say, I do agree with that criticism. I think that this person who, she has like 11,000 followers on Instagram. I would be over the moon to have 11,000 followers on anything, okay? Like, I am not anything compared to her. I'm minuscule, and she's a small creator, sure. But she does have a pretty broad reach in a rather small community, but it's still not anywhere big enough. So at any rate, I was just so like taken aback by the fact that I didn't find anything that this man had to say anyway challenging or compelling. I was expecting to have someone like really challenge me and have to rethink things and instead I'm just like, yeah, that sounds exactly like what my initial impression was that somebody came up with probably something that means a lot to them and probably has the best of intentions that the broader population is just probably not going to pay that much attention to because it's not needed. Like, there wasn't anything wrong, like that catastrophically wrong with the symbol the community has adopted and has been using for all these years. So of course, after I have my just like, what the heck did I just read moment, I do go and I look up Ace and Grace, and I'm going to include a link to her. I would suggest going and reading her arguments and checking out the flag if you would like. I'm not trying to tell people what to do here. I will say that I find the design very ugly. I do. I think that the colors do not look good together at all. But that's not really, I guess that is important. I mean, you want it to be, here's something that I didn't get any sense that anyone involved with this process maybe thought about. But because the ACE flag was created sort of earlier on in the micro labels game, before there were flags for things like being aromantic and asexual and things like that, you can see the influence of the asexual flag on other flags from other related micro labels. The aromantic flag and the asexual flag are not exactly the same, but they have sort of the similar complementary vibe that really works together. They have black, white, and a color, and then, you know, with you might get gray in there too. It just depends, but like you get purple for ace and green for arrow. And then when they did arrow ace, it's kind of similar, but it's green and like orangey yellow. It's a nice flag actually. So you can tell that there is a kinship between the way these flags have been developed. And then you get things like the asexual flag, which is completely based on the asexual flag. It's the asexual flag with an inverted triangle of the colors in the middle. If the ace flag changed, then it wouldn't make sense for the asexual flag not also to change. But I don't think they considered that. I don't think there was, I didn't see that there was, and I'm doing a very light overview here, but I didn't see like there was any indication that there was reaching out to other communities, like the asexual community, like the aromantic community, like the demisexual community, another flag that's clearly a derivative of the asexual flag. Like, I feel like there was maybe some short-sightedness here. When I watch a lot of trans creators on YouTube for whatever reason, I don't know how that happened, but it's great, it's wonderful. And I have one thing I've picked up from particularly European trans people is that there is a connection to trans people to the blowhigh, which is a stuffed whale shark from IKEA. I don't know if I've ever been to an IKEA, so, you know, like, I'm probably missing like a lot here. But I've seen multiple people, you know, make references, trans community, this whale shark plushie from IKEA. I made a reference to that in some other community that was like trans related, and it was like nobody knew what I was talking about. Just because a symbol seems ubiquitous for a community doesn't mean that it is, that it's going to propagate through all populations. You know, there are people who are asexual have no idea that the ace community is associated with garlic bread or cake or taking over Denmark or whatever it is. There's some lore in asexual communities, but not all people in the community know that lore, right? Basically everybody within the queer community that knows the term asexual knows it associated with that flag, the original-ish, whatever you want to call it, flag, you know, the one they're trying to replace, one that I don't think they're going to successfully replace. Getting that association to go away and change to something else is just, it's infeasible. It's infeasible. And I just don't think they have the numbers, enough people who want this to happen inside and outside of the community. I don't think that it's a strong enough aesthetic design to catch people's eye. I think you want less colors on a flag, not more. Because you're not just manufacturing a flag. You're making something that's going to be put on merch, and people are going to use those colors. And so the more colors you have, the more of a mess it is. I mean, the original rainbow flag had 2 more colors on it that they eventually took away. It was just infeasible to manufacture in the original configuration. You would want to simplify flags, not add more colors, add more complexity. That's not a good idea. And here's the other thing that just really threw me for a loop. They complained that the only real criticism that I saw of the current flag that everybody associates with asexual, not, you know, the one they'd like to replace, is that the white stripe was there. But in the new version, there's still a white stripe. I'm like, what? Are you pranking me? Am I on punked? This is so ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Okay. Again, I no shade to the people who behind this project. I believe they had good intentions. I believe that they have good reasons for everything they did. I'm sure they think that flag looks lovely. It might just be my subjective opinion that it doesn't look good. I'm sure they, you know, are important voices within the community, and I'm glad they're taking big swings. That's not a bad thing. But my initial impression, nothing I've seen has changed it. I don't think that it's going to catch on. I personally do not like it. I don't intend to use it. And I don't know what that means for your project, new flag design creators. If you should try again or not. I don't know if that's what you're going to take from that. But you know, keep on keeping on, I guess. All right, family members, I am running out of time, so I've got to wrap this up. I will have put the flag in the thumbnail. Obviously, I didn't have any like visual aids here to show you, so you might want to go look at it. I'll try to give you some links so you can decide if you agree with me or not. I'll even link the dang substack. Give that guy some more clicks if you feel like it. I mean, ace creators are too small, don't have enough reach as it is, so I'm not trying to tear anyone down here. All the love in the world, okay? All right. Love you guys. I don't have a cat or a dog within reach to grab for you, so I'll have to just leave you with that. Take care of yourselves. See you later. Bye.